Hi guys, Mr. Remain here. Let's take a look at the following problem. Depending on where you're watching this problem and what platform you're watching it from, there are going to be automatic pauses in the video. That's only meant so that you can attempt the problem before I do it. And there may be quizzes in some videos. You would have to plug in your answer, and depending if it's right, you get to fast forward all the way to the end of this video and see the second method, or the methods that I use to solve the problem. So let's read. A magnet costs $3 and a spinner costs $5. David buys 4 more magnets than spinners. If he spends $52, how many magnets did he buy? Now, part of that problem may be a little confusing, and that's fine. What we want to do is we want to reread that portion and linger on our words, making sure we understand the problem. Linger here meaning read slower and try to understand. Form a picture in your head, and as you reread, the picture should become clearer. So, David buys 4 more magnets than spinners. David buys 4 more magnets than spinners. If we think about that, we recognize that there are more magnets than spinners. 4 more magnets than spinners. Now, think of you being a director, directing David as he buys his magnets and spinners. And he's picking up one item at a time and cashing for it. He's buying 4 more magnets than spinners. Could you imagine what would David pick up first? What would you direct him to pick up first? What would be next? And so on. Think about it. Well, I had this done with some students, and they had some pretty amazing directions, right? So one person did magnet, 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 spinner. Then David picked up 4 more magnets and another spinner, 4 more magnets and another spinner. Then there was another student who went, another student went, spinner, magnet, spinner, magnet, spinner, magnet, 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 magnet. What would you direct David to do? You can pause the video and think about it. Alright, so if you selected the last 2, you'd be right. David buys 4 more magnets than spinners, meaning that he was probably buying spinners and magnets in equal amounts all along, and then just at the end he purchased 4 more magnets. We can think of that as this last one. He's buying spinner and magnet together in pairs, and then to the end he buys 4 magnets. Or we can think of it as he's buying magnets, 4 magnets at the start, and once he gets those 4 more magnets, he buys his spinners and magnets all together. So that's basically it. We're going to be looking at the second to last one and the last one as options as to how we would direct David to buy his magnets. Given that we know that a magnet costs $3, we can easily think about those 4 magnets and getting them out of the way. Because provided we get them out of the way, what we'd have is groups of magnets and spinners to buy. So let's start by getting them out of the way. The first bit of working for this problem is going to be $3 for 1 magnet, but we're buying 4, so that's $12. And that's his 4 extra magnets. Let's write that there. 4 extra magnets. Now, he then buys the remaining. Well, how much money does he have to buy the remaining? We're going to take this 12 from the total. That's going to be 52. Take away 12. That's going to give us $40. And that's what he has left over. What is he going to do with that? Well, based on this one, he's buying 4 magnets. The remaining money is going to be spent buying magnet and spinner groupings. To buy his magnet and spinner in equal amounts, we're gonna try to group and recognize that he's buying a group of magnet and spinner, and that's going to be $3 plus $5, which is $8. So every group of magnet and spinner he buys is going to be $8. So think about it. He's going to buy $8 over and over and over. That's like multiplying by 8 until he gets to his leftover money, which is 40. Can you think about how many groups of 8 magnets and spinners he'd have to buy? Okay? That's equal to 5. 8 times 5 is 40. If that problem was any harder, we'd have to divide 8 into 40. But it's easy, so it's 8 by 5. So what does this 5 tell us about? This 5 represents 5 groups of magnets and spinners. We only want to find out how many magnets he bought. That would mean we're going to recognize that in every one of those groups there's one magnet, one spinner. So these 5 groups equals 5 magnets. And remember the 4 magnets he bought at the very start? Well, we're going to add that to his 5 magnets. So 5 plus 4 equals 9 magnets. And that's going to be the answer for this. Now, let's take a look at another way in which we can solve our problem. I'm going to leave this working on this side, and we're going to solve the problem using guess and test, or guess and check. What that means is we're going to guess how many magnets and spinners and then test or check to see if we get 52. There is a slight focus. We need to remember that there are 4 more magnets than spinners. So when we create guess and check, we always use an organized table or chart. So we're going to have magnets, we're going to have spinners, and we're going to have, well, our test. We can think of our test as the total cost of magnets and spinners. And we're going to guess. Now, how do we guess? Let's just guess the number of magnets, guess the number of spinners. But remember, there are 4 more magnets than spinners, so we have to be careful how we guess. That means if we were to guess something like 10 and 10, this would make no sense because these magnets and spinners are the same amount. We want to guess 4 more magnets than spinners. So a guess like this might be 10 magnets, and since this is 4 more, it's going to be 6 spinners. Something like that. When we guess here, we have to check, well, what's the cost of 10 magnets? 10 magnets would be 10 times 3. 10 times 3, 10 times 3 is 30. Cost of a spinner is $5, and that gives us $60. Think about it. That's 30 and 30, $60. Now, this is definitely too high. We're testing and we're hoping we get 52. So we want to drop these amounts a little bit. So let's guess a smaller number than 10 magnets and 6 spinners. Maybe we can guess, I don't know, 8 magnets. If we had 8 magnets, how many spinners would we have? Remember, there are 4 more magnets than spinners. That's right. It would be 4 spinners. Go ahead and test that. See what you get. Well, that's going to be 8 times 3, which is 24, and 4 times 5, which is 20. And our figure here, 20 plus 24, is going to be 44. That's our total. It's too low. We want a guess that gives us $52. So since we already guessed 10 and this was too high, we guessed 8, this was too low, let's guess somewhere in the middle. Let's guess 9. And if we guess 9, 9 times 3 is 27. And for less here would be 5. 5 times 6 is, 5 times 5 is 25. And 25 plus 27 is going to give us 52. And that's our answer. We got 52. So how many magnets did David buy? He bought 9 magnets. And that's another way of looking at the question. So think about it. Which way would you try if you had to solve this question?